just redo it. And it's kind of nice to know that I shouldn't waste my life on certain things and that I do, and can just kind of use that time and spend it elsewhere. But also I kind of get twice the amount of time, or 3 times, depending on how many times I rewind that moment, to do whatever I want. So I feel like rewind would be able to give me a lot more infinite choices than just pause.
Yes, totally agree. That is hands down. That's a great answer. Rewind is like, you can do so much more with that, especially with the interviews thing. I so relate on such a personal level. Okay, so the next question is, would you rather give up breakfast, lunch, or dinner? I guess this isn't really it's like a 3-part kind of. So breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Yes, Scott, you got it. Take it away.
Okay, great. Well, this would be a tough one. If I had to think about this question seriously, I would want to probably want to give up lunch, and the reason why is because ever since the lockdown began. So aside from looking on the computer, the favorite pastime is snacking on whatever available in the house when there's really nothing to do. And what better way to get you in the mood to snacking when there's nothing to do than after you have lunch? So the solution to that would be having a big breakfast that it will leave you just fine for first half of the day. Then when you get to dinner, the only temptation you have to worry about really is your dessert, and that's it. No snacking, and possibly no midnight snacking. And yeah.
Thank you, Scott. Very true. Who needs snacks when you have dessert? So obviously. And thank you for that. So I think this is our last question, I'm pretty sure, but there might be one more. We'll see. So the last possibly one is, would you rather be able to go to any theme park in the world for free for the rest of your life, or eat for free at any drive-thru restaurant for the rest of your life? So I guess it's kind of similar to the other one, but a little tweaked. I'm gonna look, who do I want to call? How about Onur? Do you want to take this one?
Okay, yeah. So if I had the choice to go to any theme park or eat at any drive-through restaurant, I think I would go with theme park because my first experience with roller coasters and theme parks was actually the Goliath at Six Flags. And so going into it, I was pretty terrified, but all my friends were like, no, this is great, this is amazing. So I got talked into it. And I remember I was terrified because if you guys have never been on the Goliath, the first 20 or 30 seconds, you're just kind of leaning back and just going up. You hear the chink, 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 go all the way to the top. And of course, I was a little bit in the middle because there's no way I was getting the front. So I get to the very top and it just stops for a second. And my luck, I happen to be at the very top. So I have a clear view of everything and I am just losing it. And then we start going downhill and my heart plummets to my feet. And then as we get to the bottom, it comes back and I'm just like, oh my God. And then by the end of it, I was like, we have to get on this again. I don't want to stop. So I was 100% on board to just stay on that ride for the rest of my life after that.
Oh, that's so fun. I think the Goliath's the one without any seatbelt, or not seatbelts, but shoulder thingies, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure. But yeah, roller coasters are super fun. Totally agree. Goliath's I think that's one of the best rides at Six Flags. I think it's Six Flags. So I think that was the last. I think that was the last one. Yep, that was the last one. So I guess that was the end of our little impromptu speech. Thank you all for great speeches. And timer, was everybody in time? Okay, perfect. And I guess with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Slate. Take the virtual.
Thank you, Tori. You did a great job. We will, since everyone was in time, everyone is eligible for voting. And we will vote on first, for your first and second, and we'll have a winner for best table topic. So, Tricia very, very kindly organized it for us. I see. Thank you. So as you can see, I started with the key. Onur was covered in scale. Sourin talked about talking to animals. Scott had the sailboat as a home. Tiffany talked about how, seeing 10 minutes in the future for someone else. Tricia talked about no paying for food. I talked about, again, what was that? Dance to Every Song. And then Sourin talked about, spoon over fork. Tricia talked about the water over the fire. And I, again, talked about, internet over AC heating. Onur, reading minds was the better option. And Tiffany, the rewind option was better. Scott talked about giving up lunch, and Onur ended with his theme parks. So just like last time, make sure you're set it to Tricia Perez privately, and you put first vote for a table topic and second vote. So we'll give a good 30 to 45 seconds, get those down. And as well, in this time, you can leave any direct feedback to Tori as table Toastmaster. She did a great job. I don't think I'd seen a Would You Rather theme before, so this was pretty fun. All right, as we're wrapping up that, our next section, final third section, is evaluations. And if you have the agenda, you can see Sourin is our general evaluator and also an evaluator for the first speaker. Sourin, you can start leading the evaluation section.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to be the general evaluator, where I'm going to evaluate the evaluators, and I'm going to be the very first evaluator. So I'll be evaluating Tricia's speech on her mentorship and getting mentors and how that affected her. So I think Tricia, I think you really excelled in providing really good examples that were really relatable. And I really liked how you drew in with your personal experiences, like you talked about your freshman year. So really, I guess, allows you to come across as relatable and able to share your own experiences for a better breadth of the topic. And I also like how you use very good vocabulary. I noticed at the end you used the word of the day, and you use generally high diction as you were able to get your point across. Some things you could maybe work on is hand movements, but I guess we're on a digital medium, so it's kind of hard to use hand motions and things like that. But that could be worked upon. You fumbled a little in the middle, like a little stuttering, but you really managed to get across and not let that stop you. So I really liked how you kept everything consistent. There was no major pauses. You seemed to have all your thoughts together. So I really like how you have everything planned out and really were able to deliver a good speech overall. That's as much as I can say. Thank you.
Thank you, Sourin.
And
yeah, and you're still GE, so you got this.
And our
David.
next evaluator will be Onur. Is it Onur, the evaluator? Yeah, Onur, the evaluator, and he'll be evaluating Scott's speech. Take away, Onur.
Awesome, thank you. To start off, Scott, great speech. I really liked how you structured your speech. You started off with a very good hook to grab our attention, and then you gave your two reasons for why music is such a powerful medium of communication. And I like how you went into details and really explained it. I'm a big fan of logic, and your speech was structured very logically. You gave point A, gave an example, supported it. And another thing you did great, you transitioned very well from one point to another. I was paying very close attention to your speech because I was your evaluator, so I could notice the transitions. But if I was just listening to your speech and I wasn't forced to evaluate it and pay close attention, it would feel almost like a song in and of itself. I was just along for the ride, everything made sense, and it was very nice. It was very agreeable, enjoyable. With that being said, one way to take that speech from a great speech to an amazing speech is, I know music is your passion. I could tell based on how prepared you were for the speech and the time and effort that went into preparing this. One thing that can help convey that passion and that enthusiasm is to change your vocal variety, or to use more vocal variety. The content was already very interesting. I didn't know what Beethoven's sonata, I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong word, I'm not too familiar with it, but the way you described it, I was very interested, and it got my attention. But with vocal variety, you can use that, you can lead into it, you can, to build something up, you could start really slow, and then you could build up to it to explain it, to build it up. Or as you mentioned, the 3 sections of Beethoven's sonata, the first part was very quiet, very somber, and the second part was loud, and there was frustration and anger. And you can use that dynamic to really enhance and help get your message across clearer and better. And additionally, you did a very good job with using pauses. Pauses are a very powerful tool that we have as public speakers. You would state your point, give an example, and then you would end it. And then instead of using a filler word like or so to lead into your next thought, you would wait, give it 2 or 3 seconds, and really let it just settle in our minds and make it concrete. And I think you did a great job with that. And I was really able to retain a lot of the main points from your speech. So overall, great work. And I look forward to your next speech.
So thank you, Onur, for evaluating Scott's speech. So I'm also the general evaluator, so I'm going to be evaluating how we evaluated, I guess. So looking through our evaluations, I'll start with you, Onur, actually, instead of myself, because you just finished and I want to get it out. So I really like how you were able to structure your evaluation and get your points across. Like you were able to list out the main things Scott needed to improve upon, what he did best. I really like how you have everything structured out, and you seemed very professional in how you gave it back to Scott. So you seem to have like a lot of experience doing this, like analyzing his speech and like giving the most thorough advice that you could give. I really like that about it. I could sense the experience behind your evaluation, I guess. Speaking about my own evaluation, I think I did fairly. I probably could have added more details in my own evaluation, and I feel like I could do a lot better in evaluating, like as a future evaluator and such. But overall, I think I did fine first time, but yeah, I guess that's about it. Thank you.
Go ahead and evaluate the meeting as a whole.
So evaluating the meeting as a whole, I think everything went smoothly. I really liked our initial 2 speeches given by Tricia and Scott, really set the tone. I really liked the table topics, actually. And I felt it was a change of pace, the would you rather. I'd have to say, Tori, good job on that, because it really added new, what's the word I'm looking for, spice, I guess. So like the topics and the table topics thing, so we really got more engagement. And I really like the topics overall, and really it was fun and nice. I was able to get across some good points. I heard a lot of good points coming from other people, so I think the meeting overall went well.
All right, thank you, Sourin. And I will take the stage back, and that concludes our meeting. Tricia, make sure I covered everything. Can you pull up the agenda again and share it on your screen, if you don't mind?
Yes, and also reports.
Yes, thank you. So I'll call on the reports for the future. That's also what general eval. So I feel like, real quick on my part, I feel like this is more definitely more on my side, go over what the role of generally valid does in its entirety, but they also call the reports. So I'll go and call those real quick. I think it's pretty sufficient, but I'll call on timer one more time. Everyone was in time, except for the one speaker was very low under. Is that correct? All right. And then Grammarian, can you give your report?
Yes, a great use of English Language Day. Nothing too glaring. But one thing I did notice was in terms of just leading into sentences, typically, like Onur mentioned, either using a pause rather than filling the space with like a leading and or and so. But other than that, great use of using English properly.
Thank you, Tricia. And we'll call on our odd counter today. Onur, can you give your report for odd counter?
So first off, Tricia, with the prepared speech, I noticed you went back to a lot. That was your filler word of choice. Just be mindful of that. I counted 10 plus. Scott, I didn't hear any filler words from you, so great work. For the table topic section, there was one or two, but for the most part, everyone did a really good job not having any. And for the evaluation, Sourin, I didn't catch any from you. And I did lie a little at the beginning of the meeting. On my evaluation, I caught myself saying so I could work on that. But overall, as a whole, we did a really good job, and was the filler word of choice this meeting.
Thank you for the report, Onur. We'll keep that in mind moving forward. Best advice for getting rid of filler words for prepared speeches is definitely practice. Outside of that, it's really just practice in general as a public speaker. Because obviously impromptu speech, it's not prepared speech, you're coming up with it. It's just try and keep the ball rolling on your thought. Jump on one point to the next. And that's my advice on filler words for today. And that concludes our meeting. We will now move into our results for voting. Tricia, do you have the ballots counted?
Yes, we do. While I go ahead and announce the first two, if everyone could also send in their votes for a best evaluator. Again, first choice and second choice, those do come into play. But after I announce the first two, maybe we could go into assigning roles for the next meeting, and then after that, coming back to best evaluator as I'm tallying up those votes. Sounds good. Okay, so thank you everyone for voting first and second. Everything was very, very close. I always have a fun time kind of seeing the changes and the votes as they come in. But for best speaker, before I announce them, typically we do have ribbons, but right now we can't, given that this is a virtual meeting. So hopefully when we do come back in the fall into in-person, I can either give you ribbons then or some sort of, we'll think about more about it. But moving on to best speaker, drum roll is Scott. Woo! Round of applause, round of applause. And then for best table topics, we have Onur. Congrats. Round of applause, round of applause. And then continue with sending in your votes for best evaluator, which I will announce the winner for that after we assign roles.
All right. And at the end of the meeting, we go ahead and assign as many roles as we can for the next. And as mentioned, this was our first online summer meeting. We plan on having online meetings at the same time, every Monday of summer. And I'm thinking ahead, we'll probably take a break for the first week of school, definitely. But yeah, so for next week, which is going to be the 25th of May, I will pull up the sheet. I believe out in front of me. I can share it myself. Do you already have it up, Tricia, or am I co-host able to share it?
I just made you co-host, yeah, so you should be able to pull it up.
Let me share this. Alrighty. Here we are. You should be able to see this here. This is our Excel sheets, or Google Sheets, I suppose. We simply just have role signups. So here is this week. We had our Toastmaster table topics, speakers, and evaluators. And here's our next week. I've gone ahead and I'll decide I'll be a speaker. So we're looking for Toastmaster, Table Topics Master, General Evaluator, and some evaluators. And all 4 or 5 of those roles I just mentioned, it is required that you be a paid Toastmaster member. But the 3 roles, Grammarian, Odd Counter, and Timer, are always welcome to guest. So starting with Toastmaster, would anyone like to be Toastmaster for next meeting? And
I can sign up for Toastmaster.
Okay. Sounds good. So it'll be Tricia, and that'll be just what I did today. Just lead the meeting, make sure it goes smoothly, stays on time, and you pass it off correctly. And we have table topics. That was Tori today. Just come up with the questions for the impromptu. And yeah, would anyone like to do that for next meeting? We'll keep that open for now. Would anyone like to be General Evaluator?
I can be the general evaluator.
The
Sure.
GE. Sounds good. I'll put your name down, Tori. Thank you. And definitely, if any of you guys want to be a speaker. Oh, also, I scratched that. Tiffany, our guest, if you want to be a speaker, do a prepared speech. How it works is you can do, I believe, definitely 1 speech without being a member. Well, I think you can do up to 2 if you want it, but definitely 1. And usually how it works is an intro speech. You could do it on any topic. Most people do it on themselves. That's definitely what I did. And yeah, so you definitely could if you want to talk about yourself. And the time is a little more lenient. Instead of 5 to 6 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, it is 4 to 6. So I'd strongly encourage that.
Maybe another week. I won't be able to
Maybe
make next week's meeting, unfortunately.
Sounds good. But as a reminder, this link is in our group meet bio, and anyone can put their name in there for like weeks in advance. But moving on, we'll need an evaluator to Table Topics Master. Scott, Sourin, you guys have any roles you'd like for next week?
What roles are open again?
We still have Table Topics Master open. We'll need another evaluator, and our reporters are still open.
I could be table topics, I guess.
Okay, sounds great. Sword. And then we'll definitely go over that role. That was what Tori did today. And let's see. And Onur, do you know, are you unavailable next week or do you not know yet?
I'm not sure. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, definitely. I know Onur mentioned he is busy studying for his CPA exam. Is that what it's called? His CPA exam?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
not fun.
I'm wishing you luck. It says that's what you built up for. You got this. But
Thank you.
yeah, no, we appreciate you anytime because you just graduated, right?
Yep.
Yep, yeah, he graduated. So we're glad you're here, man. But yeah, so anytime if you happen to stay by, I'm sure these roles at this rate will be open. And Scott, do you know if you'd like to do another speech again, or be an evaluator?
Well, if it's okay, if it's okay with you guys, mind if I do another speech for next week?
That's certainly fine, Scott. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put your name down.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lee.
All right, and I think that's good for now. And then that can close role signups, and we'll try filling those up. And I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and give a few closing remarks. Great meeting, our first online meeting. Obviously, we need to work on, membership. That's going to be tough given both summer, online, multiple things. But thank you, Tiffany, for coming. But yeah, I'm really excited. So I think that's all I got to say, really. It's a great meeting. Really liked Table Topics. We had great participation. I really liked our guest participation. Everyone, I think, went at least twice, if not 3 times for a few of us. normally if we had more people, you know, we wouldn't have to go twice, but I think that was really great. People got really into it. And yeah, so I think we're done. Before we end the meeting, Tiffany, our only guest, what we do is we'd like you to mention 3 things. Just introduce yourself, just what your major is, what year you are, and the final thing, what you thought of your first Toastmaster meeting with us.
Okay, sure. My name is Tiffany. I just finished my first year at UGA. I'm a finance and intended risk management major. I really enjoyed, so Slate's been asking me to come to a few of these meetings, but I've been really nervous about speaking in front of other people and kind of, you know, thinking on the spot. But I really enjoyed today's topics, Tori. I think they were really easy to talk about, and especially just debate. And it was easy to think of things to say, which I really enjoyed. And I'm excited to come back for more meetings.
Thank you. Makes me happy. But yeah, I think with that, Tricia, pass it off to you. You can close out the meeting.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Boom, officially done.
Hey. So one last thing, just mentioning membership again. We're really just working on that word of mouth. I'm going to go over a few specifics with Tori probably a little later. But if everyone wants to, all the officers and Onur, you could stick around if you wanted to, if you don't have anything to do. We were just going to talk about some logistics things, like not more than 10 minutes real quick. But yeah, but Tiffany, if you have anyone you think would be at all interested, please direct them our way. We have an Instagram, UGA Toastmasters, our group me. Please, we have something we can share on our Instagram story. Oh, also, Sourin, thank you for recording the meeting. I saw you did that. You can stop that whenever we join the meeting.